The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Well, it's time for another edition of Mick Shots. It's another week for Mickey inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. I'm Bill Jones in my home office, Everson Walls in his home office. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about once again.
Boy, do we.
We all almost predicted that score about exactly right. Mickey had it for a second there, and then, Everson, what was your score?
I believe mine was 30-28 with a game-driving, game-winning field goal.
You almost had it, too. You had it at 30-28. I mean, Seattle was up 30-28. Mickey, I thought, had it with a game-winning field goal also. Didn't you, Mickey?
I did. And, when it was around 30-22, I'm thinking, okay, because I picked 36-33, right? I'm thinking Seattle's going to kick another field goal. Right. If the Cowboys at least score 2 more touchdowns and miss an extra point, which certainly could happen, right? They were going to hit 36. Yeah. I got this. And then it didn't work out so well.
All right, before we all get started here, a little message. Let's behind-the-scenes message to Chris Beam that we are hearing what's going on.
He just took care of it. He's on top of it. Okay, Christopher. Yes.
All right, very good. And if memory serves me right, I had Seattle winning that game.
Yes, you did.
And I think it was 38. Yeah,
and
38,
you were
31.
the jinx. Bill, you were the reason we lost. That we need positivity here, and you were the jinx.
Wait, you didn't say 38-31, did you? I want tape on that.
I believe I said.
His score was pretty low, if I recall.
No, I had it. I had a high scoring. I had like 34-31.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, but anyway, so much to get to. And it could have very easily have been the other way around if not for mistakes. The myriad of mistakes that put this team in another hole. And, Mickey, I'm sure you could fill more than 45 minutes talking about all that.
I absolutely could, because I just got done finishing 1,400 words on it, by the way, for DallasCowboys.com. But I thought Mike McCarthy, after the game on his post-game press conference, hit it on the head. He goes, "We are not a very clean football team right now." And I couldn't agree with him more. You cannot make the mistakes they make. And I don't care if you throw for 450 yards again and become the second quarterback in NFL history to have back-to-back passing yardage of at least 450. I don't care if you become the first Cowboys team to have plus 500 yards in back-to-back games. If you make the mistakes they made in that game, I don't care if you overcome a 15-yard deficit. It's still hard to win a game. You can't fumble the ball at the goal line, recover it at the 1, and it turns into a safety. That's 2 points. You can't have, and I'm going to maintain both of those extra points were blocked. The first one, if you go back and look at it, Poona Ford gets penetration. He's got his hand in the air, and the ball did just a weird thing. So I'm going to give Zuerlein the benefit of the doubt, but even not, you can't miss 2 extra points. Now, I just gave you 4 points, right? If I take those 4 points, give the Cowboys 2 more, and Seattle 2 less that they shouldn't have had, only thanks to the Cowboys, it's a 36-33 game in that last possession, and Dak doesn't have to desperately throw the ball into the end zone at the end because he's got a field goal in his back pocket to tie the game.
That's right, Spanish.
And you know what? And if I go into the 2 turnovers, Dak's interception at the end of the half, there's hardly any time left. And in 29 seconds, they score a touchdown. And then you come out, he gets sacked, the ball comes out, they score another touchdown. You've got a struggling defense as it is, and then you just hand the hottest quarterback in the NFL 14 points. He didn't need those 14 points. He was doing enough on his own. And you make those mistakes. And until they clean this stuff up, you are not going to recover the way they did in Atlanta every week and score 40 points to have to win a game. There, I only took 5 minutes. I only took 5 minutes.
It gave me a chance to have some notes. I put some notes down while you were talking. I would have to say that, can we say that the defense actually improved from the 2 previous games? Are we allowed to say that? I mean, when you think about it, our third down percentage was way up. I was impressed with the effectiveness that they had in spots against Russell Wilson. To see him be a little bit hesitant in some of the things that he was doing, we actually were consistently holding them to at least to have them think about what they're trying to do as opposed to just being able to just go up and down the field. We actually gave them a bit of resistance, and then that's when the mistakes happen. It's not just fumbles. It's not just extra points. It's also coverage. We had, I believe, in the 3 touchdowns that I saw, I don't think anyone was around for, I'd say, about 10 yards on each touchdown. The first 3 touchdowns, they were so wide open. Those also came from mistakes, coverage mistakes in the secondary. Not just that. When you look at the pass rush for the Cowboys, we did improve. We got 3 sacks by 1 player. He had a great game in Aldon Smith. That's kind of what we have come to expect from him. But the problem you have is people staying in their lanes. When you have a player like Russell Wilson, you've got him on 3rd and 6. He knows that you're going to be coming after him. He saw that our pass rush was better. So he started to use that against us. He would allow you to lose your lane coverage when it came to the pass rush, and then he would buy more time with his amazing pocket presence. He would fake like he's going to run, draw you in, buy himself room for the outside, and there's your man wide open, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4. We tried to do a good thing. We had Aldon Smith as a spy. That was a good idea. But the spy also has pass coverage. So there was this game between Wilson and Smith in regards to, do I make him stay back and play pass so that I can run for those yards? And sometimes he would fake the run, come back, Jalen would come forward, or any of the coverage would come forward. They become disarray, and there's an open man right in the middle. It was a chess game that we lost because we've never defensively been able to play chess. We're always playing checkers on defense, while the quarterback, at least in this particular instance, he was definitely playing chess, and that's Russell Wilson.
So I'm going to ask you guys this question, and you both can maybe give me a good answer. How do you have that many busted coverages in one game? Because as Everson said, and I wrote in my column, social distancing is good for our society. It's not good in coverage. You can be within 6 yards of the receiver. There was of his 5 touchdown passes, only 1 was somewhat contested. Okay, the rest of them, they're wide open. How do you have that many busted coverages?
Well, that's a great point, Dr. Fauci.
Talked about this week about changing the defense. Aldon Smith complained about the defensive game plan was always too thick. They were going to whittle it down a little bit to where we could kind of absorb it defensively. Well, maybe it did happen a little bit because we seem to have a little bit more effectiveness against a blazingly hot quarterback. But in the end, it was still the same old story. Not only were the mistakes there, but the pressure was not. Down the stretch, I'd say his last 3 drives, I don't know if Russell Wilson got touched unless he decided to run past the line of scrimmage. And it was so disappointing to see how we were effective in most cases without the mistakes. And then when it came down to it, especially after we had the game, what we thought was the go-ahead drive in the game, we thought it was going to be a game-winning drive, we still ended up collapsing defensively on the D-line.
You know, it seemed like at times, and you guys tell me, it seemed like one guy in the secondary didn't have the call right. Like, everybody's playing zone, and that guy wants to play man and leaves the area. Or everybody's playing man, and that guy thinks he's zone, and he drops off, and no one covers a guy running free down the middle of the field. How does that happen? You can't make that many mistakes. You know, it's one thing to physically get beat, but when you get beat mentally in the secondary like that, that part I don't understand. You know, even the one that somewhat was contested by Thompson, and I don't know if he was supposed to, they were zoning that guy out of the slot, but Jordan Lewis didn't even reroute the guy. He just stood there and let him go by, nope. And then he stood in space like this, and there wasn't a receiver in 20 yards of him. So what was he supposed to be doing? You know, the other one that the guy ran by down the field, you know, Trayvon Diggs is going with him, and then he backs off, and I don't know if the safeties thought, oh, he's got him covered, and he runs right by the whole secondary. You can't make those mistakes. That part I didn't understand, and I can't excuse.
And once again, here you have a situation where someone needs to make a play. Just any play at any time would make a difference in a close game like this one. I almost had my Trayvon Diggs interception. I almost predicted that. I was so close, but he didn't catch it. But any one of those instances, when you make turnovers, then you put doubt in the receiver's mind and you put doubt in the quarterback's mind. And we did that from a rush standpoint. But while he was looking down the field, Russell Wilson saw no threats coming at him, and he's had wide receivers wide open running down the field at any time. You have to counter that with not just sacks, because sacks won't do it. You have to counter that with turnovers, and that will give you momentum. And like I said, it puts doubt in the quarterback's mind.
You know, I think any quarterback can learn a lot from watching Russell Wilson, and you know, Dak would be well served watching him. I think from the standpoint of him taking care of the ball. You know, and we looked up his stats or his sacks last year. I think he was sacked 48 times last year. He was sacked 4 times in this game. The big thing he doesn't do is turn the football over. I think it was only 5 picks last year. And, you know, sometimes, you know, a sack is not a good thing, but you could see, and you talked to Everson about his pocket presence. And, you know, the Cowboys were getting decent pressure on him at times. It probably wasn't consistent enough, but, you know, he has the ability to let plays develop. And in fact, Troy was calling the game, and he talked about some of the stuff being coverage sacks or nearly coverage sacks, that there were times the Cowboys seemed to be doing a good job, but I think a lot of that, too, was Russell is patient in the pocket, where he lets things develop and can see the whole field and so forth. And, I mean, credit to him for having that ability, and I think that is you know, being a veteran quarterback, the maturity of a veteran quarterback and understanding it, that it's not the end of the world to take a sack. You know, one of the critical scenarios in that game was with a minute left in the first half, and the Cowboys throw the interception, and the Seahawks were able to convert that into a touchdown. And I don't know, Mickey, I'm sure you're going to go off on the double penalty, and they pick up the flag on the Cowboys. That on the completion to Greg, was it Olsen down the sideline down to the 1 yard line?
Yes, that was Olsen down the sideline.
Yeah, and you know, we're not gonna worry about the Seahawk penalty on this one. It's the Cowboy penalty. You know, I don't know that Jalen Jalen did not push him out of bounds. The initial shove sent him to the sideline, and he was losing his balance, and he fell out of bounds. I don't know what the official rules are on that, but that was a bad break for the Cowboys. You throw the pick and then you give up 7 there. That's a tough one. Where you're down 23-15 at halftime instead of 16-15.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't just that one. I think they had a third down stop, and Russell Wilson's out of the pocket. He's way out of the pocket, and I think it was Worley ran into the wide receiver, and they called him for illegal contact. I thought when the quarterback was out of pocket, you help me, Everson, I thought once he's out of the pocket, you can hit a wide receiver, no matter where he's at. And I thought it was a ticky.
Because if the quarterback is out of the pocket, he has the propensity to run.
Right.
So now he becomes a runner, and the wide receiver is a potential blocker. And if he's a potential blocker, then all bets are off.
And they called interference, or holding, and it wasn't holding. They both ran into each other, and he's outside the pocket. How do they call that? And that's a significant play. So, yeah, I mean, there was a couple of those weird calls in this game. And then kind of the unfortunate one on their 2-point conversion when they got a redo after Tristan Hill clobbered, Russell Wilson in the shoulder or head, whatever he hit, and they got a redo.
Like shoulder to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right. And they said on TV that it was head-to-head no, it wasn't head-to-head contact. He hit him in the shoulder.
It surely was not head-to-head. No, it was not head-to-head. If anything, it was hand to head, and I don't think it hit him on the head. I thought it hit him on the sholders.
That's what it certainly looked like.
I have to ask you in regards to these, how do you bring a player down if he's in the pocket versus if he's a runner? When the young man, I believe it was Wagner, he grabbed Zeke by the ear hole,
like the back of his helmet.
Isn't that also face mask? I wasn't sure about that, but I didn't know you could grab someone by the head anywhere under the helmet at any time. I just assumed that was also either a horse collar or considered a face mask. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought it was a horse collar too. I mean, what's more dangerous, grabbing the guy by the shoulder pads or grabbing him by the back of his helmet and yanking him down?
Basically the neck.
Yeah.
Grabbing him by the neck and slinging him down, yes. And the referee was right there. I don't know if we can throw challenges there, but as we talk about the, incompetence or question the incompetence of the referees, I think the Cowboy coaching staff should also be on point to make sure and bring these up to them in the future because, and when I say the future, that means future plays, not future games. But future plays, because that could be a factor when it comes to another critical part of the ball game where a flag is not called. I think that they have to have some type of quality control on the sidelines. I'm sure they do. We always did. I'm sure every NFL team has quality control on the sidelines in regards to someone needs to check the ref in regards to how consistent they are in the calls that they make.
Sky Judge.
We're just getting started. We're getting started here on Mick Shots, a Monday afternoon quarterbacking, and we continue in just a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Make the most of summer with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. With great offers on a huge selection of Ford SUVs and the largest selection of truck inventory to choose from. Get huge offers across the Ford lineup. So grab the family and head out. Ford's helping you make the most out of summer. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Based on 2019 calendar year total sales. Based on Autodata compact and full-size stock inventory as of June 2020.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys? Jack Black. Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Celebrating styles and design worn by players and coaches over the last 60 years, the Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop introduces the new era 1960 Headwear collection. Find the full assortment at your nearest Cowboys Pro Shop and on shop.dallascowboys.com. Mickey, do you have any headwear there in the SWBC Mortgage Studios today to show us?
I had it last week, and I didn't bring it down this week. Things got a little bit rushed to fit everything in I needed to do before this show started.
It doesn't go with his outfit, Bill.
Any Cowboys gear goes with whatever Mickey is wearing.
That's right.
You know that.
Let's get it right.
That's right. I was trying to look up the rule on the face mask. Twisting, turning, or pulling the mask.
Only? Mask only?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's mask only, but you're right. In that case, when you're grabbing around the bottom of the back of the helmet and it has the same effect of pulling the face mask, they need to address that rule. If it's not included. I'm
pretty sure that they have talked about that. You have so many instances where helmets
I thought so too.
Off.
Yeah.
Yeah, in many ways, not just by the face mask. It's crazy.
If it's not a twist, turn, or now that has something to do with it, I guess. A twist, turn, or pull. I don't have enough time to look
I'd
it
have
all
to
up
say
right.
that he was definitely pulled down.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Twisted,
no doubt.
Twisted before he went down.
Yeah. So, but anyway, there's so much to get into. Mickey, where would you like to go next?
You know what? I thought I'd point out, and Everson pointed it out in his first segment rant. Aldon Smith, the guy. If I got my stats right, I know he had 3 sacks. Okay, he also ends up with 4 quarterback hits. So now in 3 games, he's got 4 sacks, and in his contract, if he ends up with 8 sacks, he gets an extra $500,000. He's halfway to it in 3 games. If he gets 10 sacks, he has $1 million incentive. So
wow.
It has been phenomenal what he's been able to do. And they kind of moved him around. You know, he was on the right side, then he went to the left side. And if somebody else could come along with him, you know, they ended up hitting Russell Wilson 8 times. And he gets sacked, what was it, 5 times? Or 4 times?
4 times.
They just need something else in the middle. At least Antoine Woods helped out and got that sack that time. They're getting no push from the middle, none whatsoever.
In fact, I thought Smith should have been credited with that. Should have been a split sack.
A half a sack
Aldon
each,
Smith
right? Yeah, he would have had 4.5 or 3.5.
3.5 in that case.
Well, he got it on my notes.
It's good seeing Antoine. You know, but Antoine, they needed that out of somebody else, one of the interior guys, being able to put some pressure up the middle on him. And Antoine has that ability.
And they're not. They're getting.
If it's by game plan, but when you have Russell Wilson, it seems as if when it was time, I don't know if it was by design or not, but it seemed as if they were able to keep the two tackles at bay on the pass rush, while our defensive ends was clearly being forced outside. And Russell was able to step up almost any time he wanted to, especially on those key third down plays. I'm not sure if that's by design or not, but it seemed to work perfectly for him. And as much as Aldon was coming around the outside, as much as DeMarcus was coming around the outside, they were doing nothing but leaving a big gap for Russell to pretty much have a clear view of the field. And I thought that was I thought that just has to be by design, or at least something that Russell anticipated because of the way the game was going on. That's why I say it's a chess match. That's something that he doesn't have to tell anybody else. That's something that Russell Wilson himself would probably recognize and use it to his advantage.
Yeah, it was almost like they put a bigger priority in blocking him up the middle than they did on the edges.
That's true, because they know the edges are coming around. They know that all they have to do is just give them a shoulder or a pathway outside, and they must take it. And all Russell does is feint as if he's doing his normal drop back, and as soon as he plants, he sees the discrepancy there in the middle, and he takes advantage of it.
On the rule on the face mask, not that we need to dwell on this at all, but no player shall grasp and control, twist, turn, push, or pull the face mask or helmet opening of an opponent in any direction. If a player grasps an opponent's face mask or helmet opening, he must immediately release it. If he does not immediately release it and controls his opponent, it is a foul.
That's a personal foul. That's a personal foul.
The ear hole, would that be an opening on the helmet?
Yes, it would.
Or underneath the backside, that's open.
Yeah, there you go.
All of it's open. All of it's
open. That's our
open.
interpretation of it anyway. All right.
Yes, it is.
All right, Mickey.
Yes.
How about, give me a positive. Give me a positive that came out of this.
Despite the lack of coverage, the lack of protection, Dak still throws for 472 yards. 472. No Cowboy quarterback has done that in back-to-back games, 450 or more. He was under siege quite a bit. Now, he only got sacked twice, but he got hit 10 times. They had 10 quarterback hits.
Wow.
And here's my question.
Did not know that.
Now, somebody, it's being thrown out there that Terrence Steele had, food poisoning or stomach problem before the game. He had to take IVs, and then they ended up taking him out. I was thinking they should have made that move long time ago. Why did they wait till there was 6:47 left in the third quarter? Put Zach Martin out at tackle. At least protect him from that side. And after they made that move on the offensive line, moving Zach out, Looney to guard, and Biotish to center, they went down and drove 94 yards for a touchdown. I believe they drove another 89 for a touchdown, and then drove 70 for a field goal. They racked up 253 yards of total offense on those three successive drives, scoring 17 points. So I just think that's got to be a thought if Lael Collins is not able to come back. And it sure sounded like, from what Stephen Jones said on his radio interview this morning, that he may be a little further out than what we thought. And so if he can't come back and Tyron can't come back, they can't put those two young offensive tackles back out there again. Everybody's got tape on it now. They know what's coming or not coming. So and they're taking advantage of it.
This week?
Yes, I know. Some guy named Myles Garrett. And I'm sure he's fired up too, because everybody from Dallas that didn't get drafted by the Cowboys, they're pissed off, right? So they're all fired up.
That's right. He'll have a
where's he
on
from,
his
Bill?
shoulder too. What's that?
Where's he from, Bill? Tell me where he's from.
Arlington Martin. He's from Arlington
Martin.
In fact, he won the Landry Award. the Tom Landry Award as the best high school football player in North Texas, and then went to Texas A&M and the Cleveland Browns. And now has
how many awards does Tom Landry have out there? I have two at home myself. And I didn't get him in high school.
That's right. Yeah, this award didn't start until about 10 or 11 years ago. And by the way, Myles Garrett happens to be, unless it's changed since he signed the contract this summer, the highest paid defensive player or defensive lineman in the National Football League. So there's that.
And I have to say, Bill, before you continue, you talk about the problems you have with the offensive line. You could see that it was also affecting in what he was trying to do in the ball game. You just didn't have a connection between all of the offensive linemen. One thing that the Seahawks are good at, regardless of what kind of problems they're having, they've always been able to play the run well. The only exception to that throughout the past has been against the Dallas Cowboys. But for some reason, this particular time, and maybe because of the injuries, maybe because of we didn't have the continuity in regards to the offensive linemen that we've usually had, they were able to take advantage of our hesitancy in regards to the blocks that we were supposed to make. So even though Zeke didn't get the yards that he wanted, what you're going to see in the future, teams are going to start playing us pass first. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the passing game. So we need to take a look at that development as we move forward. How is Dak going to continue to put these numbers up while teams are going to continue to start putting more DBs out there? And eventually, they might even start playing those amoeba defenses against us at all times. In other words, very few linemen and a lot of linebackers.
And along those lines, Everson, I went back and looked at it, trying to figure out, was there a certain play that Terrence Steele did not make on the previous drive that led them? That was kind of the final straw. We got to make a change here. On the 4th and 1 play on what was the Cowboys' second possession of the third quarter, where Zeke barely got the first down.
Boy, we got lucky on that one, didn't we?
Well, Steele got driven back into the backfield by L.J. Collier, the defensive end out of TCU. I mean, with basically one hand, just stoned him and drove him back into the and Zeke had to adjust on his run because he had to go around Steele. So I mean, that may have played a factor, because at that point, they basically made the decision with Mickey with 11 minutes left in the third quarter. They were making the change. That's when the Cowboys' drive ended. But then Seattle had the ball until the 6.5-minute mark, and so that's when it manifested for us watching. But I think that was the one play that was glaring that Steele got beat on a play leading up to that. And by the way, the stats for Dak, which would have been in the final 21 minutes and 38 seconds of the game, after they made that switch on the offensive line, he was 20 out of 29 for 274 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was the final 21 minutes of the game. He passed for 274 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, I think that should be a plan going forward.
I was going to ask, do we have a new offensive line now? Do we have a new lineup?
I mean, they can't get 5 guys out there to play together for any amount of time. And maybe the same thing on the defensive line. DeMarcus Lawrence, I think he only played 20. Let me see here. He played 31 snaps, so 41% of the snaps. Now, at least he got out there, and he was getting penetration. I know he didn't get a sack, but he had a couple tackles, and he was making a pest of himself.
He sure did.
But again, they need more. Yes. They need more. They just can't have 1 or 2 guys doing that. And then same thing on the offensive line. These guys just aren't playing together enough. And they keep switching things out. All I know is when this happened last year, and they had both of their starters missing that one game, and I was like, okay, so Jason Garrett, who's the next who's the next tackle up if one of those guys get hurt? And he basically looked at me, raised his eyebrows, and he goes, probably Zach Martin. It was almost like, we can't be fooling around with these other guys. We got to protect our quarterback.
Nope. We need a real player. And one other thing now, you start talking about the different options that we have. I like Zeke in regards to how we're trying to get him the ball. We're trying to be very creative because we weren't running well. But when we start throwing these screen passes,
got to catch
first
him.
of all, the passes have to be better. And he's got to catch them. I think they gave him 4 drops.
Oh.
I'd have to say that Dak should share in 2 of those drops because, you just got to get it to him better. You need to put it in a better place because when you're going out for a screen pass, you've got it's a decoy move. So while you're trying to set the defensive lineman up, I want to be able to catch that ball quickly and turn around and see where I got to go. And there are times when Dak just didn't put it in a friendly spot. Yes, he should have caught them. He would never blame Dak for that. But I'd give him half of those 2 drops that he had.
All right, we continue with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
What do you call a group of grown men and women who get together every week, proudly wearing the star, to share a 3-hour-long ritual of cheering, shouting at the TV, and raising their Miller Lite together while yelling, "How about them boys?" You call it Miller Time and Cowboys Nation. Here's to the only beer of the Cowboys celebrating 60 years of greatness. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole. Back to Mick Shots.
Mickey.
Yes.
Is Mickey there? Mickey,
well, you know what, Chris? You should have told me that. Does your Cowboys fandom go beyond the game? As part of the NFL Fan of the Year contest, we're launching a search for one extraordinary Cowboys fan who's a positive influence and inspires others through their love of the game. Visit NFL.com/fan of the year now to learn more and nominate today. And guess what? I'm not a quarterback, so I don't have to take the fault for guys dropping my passes.
Oh, that was a false start there. We got penalized 5 yards there.
That's okay. He was dealing with a high-maintenance client. That would be me.
That's right.
And by the way, I wanted to add this stat, too. Prescott threw 3 touchdowns of 40-plus yards or more in the game, right? Broke a record that the 3 Cowboy quarterbacks had. Craig Morton, Tony Romo, and Dak Prescott all once had 3. How about that? So he tied it. I'm sorry. They all had 3 40 or more yard touchdown passes. Rather incredible.
You know, we talk about something positive, Bill. What about number 11?
Yes.
Where did he come from?
Wilson.
We lose Amari Cooper, and we don't miss a beat. Am I right?
Well, he kind of spelled him at times to give him some, so he didn't have to play the entire game with that foot that was bothering him. But Everson, he had a sparkling training camp. He was doing that stuff in training camp, and you could see Dak trusted him because he would go to him when they got in those team situations. So, he's been hurt those first 2 years. He was on and off injured reserve. He was never healthy. Now he's healthy, and he's got that ability. I mean, he ran away from people. It's not the fact that he just caught the ball.
Yes.
He ran away from people. So now you got 4 receivers.
When you catch a receiver Usually when you catch a receiver, first time in the game, he gets a chance, and oh my God, here comes the ball. They usually catch it, and then their feet stop working. Their whole brain stops working. They're content with the reception. But this guy, ready to go to the house every time he touches the ball. Now, the 2 touchdowns were amazing, but it was a first down on a bubble screen that may have impressed me even more. I think it was only 3rd and 2. 3rd and 3, we had this complicated option read bubble screen. Way too much for a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 3. But thank God it turned out. And it turned out because he was able to make a last-second move on the linebacker before getting blasted. That would have prevented him from making that first down. He saw the guy coming, made an instinctive move. Linebacker misses him. He goes forward for about 3 or 4 more yards. I think that first down was probably as big as his second touchdown that he made. We needed that drive to continue.
5 catches, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Cedric Wilson. And by the way, because I think he was spelled not only Cooper, but also C.D. Lamb there in the second half, maybe Gallup a little bit too. When you throw the football 57 times for 472 yards, and you're throwing it downfield like the Cowboys are, you need all 5 of your receivers. I mean, Noah Brown was getting a lot of playing time there late in the game as well. We talk so much about the 3-headed monster at wide receiver. If they're going to throw the ball 57 times, and they don't want to throw the ball 57 times, they want to play from ahead in these games, and then you're not having to throw for over 400 yards and 57 passes. But in this type of offense, you need those 5 receivers. I was thinking at the end of that game, in fact, I said to my wife, we were watching it, I'm like, these receivers have to be so gassed right now. On that last drive, I mean, think about just how many miles they had logged just running routes yesterday.
Yeah, especially on the last drive when they weren't allowing him to get downfield, and he was having to throw everything underneath. And so they're making all that effort, and they're not getting anything because he can't get the ball down the field because they had those safeties almost 20 yards deep on that entire drive. They weren't going to let anything behind them. But you know what? Having said that, on that near sack that he spun out of and it got intercepted in the end zone, I see what he saw. He just didn't get enough on the ball because he had 2 receivers behind all the defenders.
That's all it was.
If he had gotten it up a little higher, a little further, Michael Gallup's going to make that catch. I guarantee you he would have. And that was everybody goes, oh, what is he doing? Well, I saw what he was trying to do. He just didn't get enough on it.
Yep.
Maybe in his mind, that play probably felt like it was 20 seconds long, and he's thinking, I'm running out of time. I got to go, right?
And if he would have just dumped that off onto the sidelines, and all of a sudden there's nothing on the clock.
Yeah.
It would have been like the bonehead play of the year. And I agree with you, Spags. From all of that stumbling around, you're in the pocket and all of that, I don't have time to look and see what the play clock is doing or what a game clock is. He did it. It was not a good pass, but it was the best he could do. I'm with you, Spags. they had to be running a whole lot of passes.
16 seconds.
And like you said, Bill, running a whole lot of pass routes.
I believe there was 16 seconds on the clock when that ball was snapped.
So it was a 10-second.
It felt to me like watching it that it took more than 16 seconds.
It ended up being a 10-second play because it ended at 06. So yeah, I'm sure in his mind he was like, God, I've been doing this forever. I got to go. I got to throw it.
That's one of those things where it's so easy for us watching in a press box or at home watching on television because we can see what the clock said when he's under duress. And it was such a remarkable athletic play just to keep his balance. The game was over if his knee hits the ground there.
Yes.
And so at that point, his head was, not only his body was spinning, but his head had to be spinning so much. He did, and I saw exactly on the replay, Mickey, what you're talking about too. At the time that he had to make the decision to pull the trigger on it, you can see from that end zone shot that he had a couple of guys there, but they collapsed quickly on it.
You're right.
Yeah, this isn't like the NBA when you can sit there and dribble and you're looking at the basket and there's a timer right above the backboard, right? You don't have time to kind of where's the time in the stadium here? Okay, I can throw this out of bounds. I get a Hail Mary.
And no one's getting hit in basketball either.
Yeah,
okay?
Right.
You're getting hit in the head like that. It's a totally different awareness problem that you have. Yes.
All right, that does it for a Monday edition of Mick Shots. Mike McCarthy has his Monday after press conference around 4 o'clock this afternoon. So look for that on DallasCowboys.com, and we will see you again tomorrow at 1:30 live for another edition of Mick Shots. Make it a great Monday.
Hockey tonight. Hockey tonight.
That's
hockey tonight. Go Stars. Go Stars, baby.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!